Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, corn dog lovers of all ages, welcome to In the Box with your hosts, Matt and Adam.
And Geo.
Everybody get...
Oh, hello everyone. How's it going? Welcome to In the Box Live on Monday, whatever date this is. Thanksgiving week.
It's the 22nd.
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 I had to write that down. I had to write that down every single vaccine I gave, so I do know the date. So we're good.
You aren't still writing March 2020 like everyone else should be?
No.
Welcome special guest Cliff and Lucie. Appropriately dressed.
Hi.
I think the viewers have figured out that we don't start until like 2 or 3 minutes in, and then the whole point of not starting until 2 or 3 minutes in was to wait for people to join to start talking. And now people just wait until we go live and then start joining.
Maybe next time we should go like 2 or 3 minutes early. That way, we start right on time. I don't know.
Jack, don't say it. Jack says Matt looks and sounds good tonight. Well, that just ruined everything. Ooh,
Probably.
Eric Bergerud says no offense to Geo, but the show is already better with Cliff and Lucie here.
Eric,
we love Eric.
Eric, you are 100% correct. But we said we weren't going to make fun of Geo at all. But you know what? We're just going to throw that right out the window.
Wait. We did say we weren't going to make fun of him? Who said that? I didn't sign up for that part of the show.
Maybe that was a figment of my imagination.
I think we said we were going to make fun of him the whole night.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
I think Eric knows too that Lucy and I are two of his biggest fans ever since the pandemic, and we listened to that broadcast all last year. Just some top-notch stuff going on there.
Plus, you're the official score giver to Eric.
Well, because the way we got the two TV setup down here in the basement, so we got both games going on at simultaneously. So when he asked for the score, we were watching right from the other TV. It's kind of nice the way I got it set up down here.
What do you do for audio? Is it really easy to switch back and forth to audio then?
No, we just keep Nick and Eric on.
We only listen to Nick and Eric.
We don't even bother with audio with any other game. It's pretty much all Nick and Eric.
It's all Nick and Eric.
Yeah,
so
just
if
because
there's no KC game that night, you just play an old one and put them on instead.
It's pretty much accurate, to be honest with you. It's Nick and Eric all the way. If there's another game on, we like that Tacoma team. They're fun to listen to, and but for what it's worth, it's pretty much Nick and Eric.
What about the St. Louis team?
It's no Bull Shark. It's no.
The Ontario team. I meant to say Ontario. To be honest
I was
with
going to say
you.
Tacoma.
Yeah, no, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm in a
We
brain.
like listening
in a
to
brain fog.
Philly and Jonathan
Yeah,
Reimer
Philly
too.
and Jonathan are great too. So
Really awesome, super fun.
I like the guys from Dallas when they don't know the rules, so that makes it for an entertaining broadcast. But I wouldn't call it necessarily good.
And they spend like the whole time period talking about them.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
funny.
and it's offside. Kevin says hi. Actually, he says Crunch gonna roll Sunday. Utica will be in for a state of shock. I don't know if you noticed, but Kevin is a Crunch fan.
I am so excited for Sunday. Well, let's just say that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to watch Utica trample Cleveland. Okay.
Next topic. Before we start, Linda Smith, Wave fan, got a message from a former Booster Club person from the Wave saying, coach is looking for someone to house a player for the season. So if there's any Wave fans out there who see this or hear this or watch this later, who have room for a soccer player, contact Coach Jules or the Wave office somehow in some way to get that person the place to. Otherwise, they have to stay in the arena.
Which it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, but then you got to wait for concessions to open and.
Yeah, good point. Plenty of bathrooms though.
Yeah, that's true. That's
We
true.
could probably have stuff DoorDash.
True.
What's your address? I don't know. I'm just in the arena. Just go to
Walkie Panic Arena.
Section 110, row C.
right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm right on the boards. Just find me.
There was one of the guys from St. Louis they were talking about, because the guys obviously in soccer they fall down a lot, and there was one guy who was saying, "Oh yeah, I know it's not very soft on that turf. I've had to sleep on the turf a couple nights in my life," and it's like, what? you get left behind and locked in or something, or?
Well, hopefully he didn't have to sleep on that turf in Florida.
Ooh, too soon.
Everything he owns is green.
Or in the old Harrisburg turf where you get the sawdust on your socks.
I think so. Harrisburg is in a new arena, but it's wait a minute. Why is Gio in the chat?
He could easily just be on this show.
I mean, I edited the sound file.
He's too big. He's too big for our britches.
I guess
so. He's got his. I don't know. Has meetings with Ed Hale every day, and he does his own podcast. And
I heard that Ed Hale is grooming him to be the next owner of the Blast.
Sounds about right.
First order of business, he's going to merge with Dallas.
Right. But
will it be the Baltimore Sidekicks?
I was going to say, will it be the Baltimore Sidekicks or the Dallas Blast? How do you choose which one?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
It's like the Cincinnati-Milwaukee merger.
I'm getting this in from Gio. I hate you guys. Okay,
we got that covered. Got that out of the way early on. He's designing. It doesn't even sound like a real thing. It sounds made up to me.
He was very vague. Like, what is he designing? Is he designing like interior people's homes?
Designing revenge plans for his
co-host.
He's
the interior designer for the Baltimore Blast. His job is to make Towson Arena look bigger.
They're going to put up a bunch of mirrors. It's just going to look actually double in size.
So, guys, we can fit the couch and the recliner, but we don't have room for the love seat and the recliner and the couch on the turf down there.
I don't know. You're not going to get a TV in at all. So.
Right. And that end table, that has to go. There's just no room for that.
It has to go. It ruins the whole feng shui, if you will.
Right. Well, if you turn around too fast, you'll circle the globe in that. All right, so where do we start? Bunch of stuff happened in the last week.
Yeah.
We talked about the Central Cup already. What do you guys think of the Central Cup games?
We enjoyed watching them. I mean, like, it was nice just having MASL back.
I agree. Like we said earlier, we love Nick and Eric, so that was enjoyable to hear them again. We love watching. It was kind of cool because I've never really watched the Crunch and the Kings play, really.
Not the Crunch.
Huh?
Not the Crunch.
Oh, the
Wings.
Wings and the Kings. Get your MASL straight.
Wings and Kings play. So that was pretty cool. I liked seeing that, seeing just different playing, and I liked watching obviously St. Louis and Kansas City playing, and different players they're getting into the game, or newer players and returning players. It was just very cool.
Rian looked good.
Rian,
yeah, we love hat trick in game one.
Sousa.
I mean, we've watched. I think we've watched Kansas City, especially over the last year, when they open up the floodgates. That team, when they get hot, I mean, talk about momentum. You know, we talk about this in sports all the time. They joke about it in the NBA. Everyone goes on a run in the NBA. They talk about it in the NFL when a team gets momentum going into a quarter or in and out of a half. But, man, when Kansas City starts scoring, they keep scoring. It's kind of unreal the way that's happened, particularly since we started watching the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it, 14 in the first and 9 in the second?
Yeah, they absolutely brought it home, which a well-deserved cup back in Kansas City, I would say.
See, I still think the cup should be. There should be a one-game playoff between Kansas City and St. Louis.
I agree.
Maybe it should take place, I don't know, Friday?
How about a 2-game playoff Friday and Saturday?
Yeah.
I think they're just
as long as it doesn't end in a tie with goal differential.
they're just keeping it true to the preseason form, not getting anyone hurt, putting those two against each other early on.
I was surprised at how good St. Louis was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
Yes
what?
and no.
When we get to the picks, I'll talk about this later, but the question mark at goalkeeper just has me very hesitant about that team right now. I mean, I want to wait and see how things play out.
I want to say hi to Brian Hallberg, and he says you need to find some West Coast fans. So I promised Brian a corn dog a while ago and totally dropped the ball on that, and half because I forgot and half because I was lazy.
A little bit of both.
Is Brian our friend from Tacoma, the one that hasn't found the trophy yet?
Yes.
Oh, well, if he finds the trophy, he gets a corn dog for a reward. So.
No, I promised him one first. I won't hold it over his head now.
It'd be easy for West Coast people too. It's like still noon out there.
Yeah, right.
Maybe
Not even November yet.
I'll ask Nick if he has the trophy, and if he still has the trophy, he can just bring it to me when he comes to Utica in April.
There you go.
Oh,
Until he gets, pulled aside by TSA, wondering what the hell this thing is in his luggage.
Well, I mean, then he won't show up for the game. I mean, it's.
Doesn't April feel like forever ago or forever from now? And then you think about going back to March, which should have been a March 15th Wave game of 2020.
I know.
And now we're just knocking on the door of the season. It's kind of incredible that we persevered and made it this long.
You know what's more incredible?
Yeah.
Mike DeSilva in the chat. Mike, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Mike?
But Mike,
I'm chuffed right now. Is that the word?
very chuffed.
Mike, what did you order? So for those who don't know, Mike just ordered a bunch of stuff from Emma's English grocery store. I don't know what you call grocery store in English or British.
It's got some weird name that has nothing to do with groceries.
Yeah, right.
Probably like the lolly baggins.
what do you call a British?
Are you asking your phone?
Probably Vegemite. I'm gonna guess Vegemite.
I don't think that's
Some Rabina and Lucozade.
Yeah, those aren't words. That's not a real thing.
Yeah, you're just making up words, Mike.
That looks more like Italian stuff that I should know about, but I don't know.
Mike says we hope we're all staying warm.
Yeah.
We're doing all right here.
It is snowing in upstate New York right now.
Okay, you
So
win.
this is our first snowfall of the year. So
Grocers?
We've had a bunch. We've had like 3 or 4 days where it snowed, but nothing that got to the ground.
yeah, this is sticking. So, but like I was telling you before, it's supposed to be 50 on Thanksgiving. So,
Hey, what are you gonna do?
watch it.
I think people in Wisconsin should not ever complain about snow compared to upstate New York.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't had. I've seen it worse up there.
But we can still hate it. We just shouldn't complain.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. I still hate it.
Yeah. I've lived here my whole life and in Wisconsin my whole life, and I hate it every year. And Gio loves snow, which makes perfect sense since you're such a big Dallas fan.
That seems appropriate.
And
Yeah,
speaking
were
of
you
Dallas,
back on
Scotty's
those
like, oh, it's in the
pavements
70s
again?
here. Yeah, when you guys were in the Seawolves, I think everyone wanted to go down to Florida and play for a while. Oh, I can go to Florida?
I think when Sarah and I retire to Florida, I might miss the snow, but maybe after a few years of summer or winter in the 70s, then I might start missing.
We better make sure that when you guys move to Florida, you don't become Florida Tropics fans.
That'll never happen.
That's good.
Yeah, we're gonna have
But
to.
you might get free tickets just by paying for parking.
Well, that's our thing. We don't pay for parking.
We don't pay for parking.
Yeah, but sometimes you
Even
can
as
park.
Wave-
What do you do?
We
Sometimes you have
go
to park
early
miles
enough
away.
and find street parking.
Well,
We park at the same spot, Adam, and I refuse to give it up because if other Wave fans are listening, I don't want to give up my spot.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Because there's always open parking right where we go all the time.
And we also have a backup plan just in case, like on New Year's Eve. Before our COVID season, we had a running list of how many times we could get free parking, and the only amount we paid for 11 games was $10. That's it.
Wow. Yeah, we
Street parking in Milwaukee is kind of awesome.
kind of awful too.
Oh, that's funny.
So when I was much younger, we used to park. The grade school I went to was on 3rd and Cherry, maybe, and we used to be able to park over there. But when they redid the whole downtown intersection and the freeway, you can't even get there. The road that went through is just gone now. You can't even get there. Like, oh well, I guess we're not parking there. We just pay for the parking.
Yeah, that's what I do every game in Utica. There's a few parking parking lots, if you will, and it's like $5 a game, so it's worth it. You get easy in, easy out.
Yeah.
So it's not bad.
So let's see. What do we want to talk about next? The weekend games are. YouTube links went out for the weekend games. I know this is a big topic that everyone's been worried about, wondering what's going on. The weird thing is that the 2 links showed up on YouTube on MASL TV, but the league has said nothing. So it seems to me like if you're going back to YouTube and know that all the fans love YouTube, you would say, hey, everybody, we're going back to YouTube for the season. But since they didn't do that, I'm thinking something else is in the works. It's just not in place yet.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I think you're right. I think you're going to see the first 2 games. I mean, it's early for MSL standards this weekend, so maybe have 2 free ones on YouTube, and then move to a paid service, maybe on Facebook again.
Okay. I mean, if they have to, they have to. But I just want a different interface than Facebook.
The struggle is real here in Lucie and Cliffland. We're going to be out of town for the first Wave game, so we're going to rely on YouTube, hopefully.
I need one too.
Or some sort of paid service so we can watch the game.
Yeah.
That's going to be so hard to
miss the Baltimore game. We actually considered changing our flight for that.
Is that where are you going? Disney?
Mexico.
Yeah,
Oh, Mexico. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, what are you going to do?
It's a first world problem. But we've actually considered changing the flight to the next morning.
You can see if the Chihuahua Savage are playing. You can go watch them.
I'll pass.
Right. Well,
You know,
Mexico's
watch them
a
lose
I
all
mean,
their games.
they're not going to win a game this season, so.
Yeah.
According to Jay Bird.
So according to Jay, let's talk about, and this kind of ties into YouTube. Jay was wondering why the views for YouTube games are just so low. Like the Milwaukee Monterey Championship only has 10,000 views. And then he said the last season's championship only had 7,000 views. That's only a highlight video. That kind of makes sense why that only has 7,000. But we heard that the Facebook pay-per-view reached 1 million unique people, which seems weird if you're only getting 10,000 views on YouTube. But I never really see. So I watch all the games on my TV, so I never really see what the numbers are at the time. You could kind of see them last year on Facebook, but even those weren't right because there were 2 different streams a lot of the time, or 2 different events a lot of the time. But,
I'm not gonna lie, I probably make up half of those streams for those old Wave games. I do.
Yeah, I mean on YouTube I watched every game. I think I missed 2 games last year on the Facebook thing. One out of protest and one because I didn't want to.
They were both probably Florida.
Well, one was for sure.
We made a tradition out of it. I think the people at Quick Trip, I bought my money's worth in Quick Trip pizzas because every Friday night it was pizza and MASL. It was kind of cool, especially when there was nothing else going on in the world. It was a perfect staple for every Friday night for us.
It was even better when it was a Kansas City game on.
Yeah.
So awesome. So fun.
Gio says MASL TV until the broadcasting teams and presentation are up to standard, from what a bird told him.
Sounds about right.
Why are we even reading his comments? I mean, I don't know. I don't get it.
You should invite him on the show and make him a co-host.
What kind of crazy idea is
We've
that?
we've made that mistake before.
Yeah.
We're not going down that road again.
So Gio, okay, official question for Gio. Are you leaving us or what's going on here? It's like a 30-second delay.
He does have a lot going on. I'm following that Facebook page of theirs, and he's got his podcast going on. It's exciting stuff out there.
I think he
He's
changed
going to be
careers too.
He's going to be associated with Dallas. I mean, he's all over the place.
He says leaving where? He's playing dumb now.
He's not going anywhere.
I would hope not. We already went through that. That was
Yeah.
a dark period in the box time.
We were stuck talking to each other.
Right. Ah, the horror.
We've been in a car with you two. We know what that's like.
Oh yeah. And at least one of you have knocked on our hotel door and ran away.
That's right. That's a good point. It wasn't me.
I think it's our little friend in Baltimore who might happen to be the goalkeeper.
I'm seriously, when they come to the arena, the odd on the 12th, I think I might go live, and I'm going to open this case up. I mean, it's been cold for what, a year now?
Yeah.
It'll be close to the anniversary, the 1-year anniversary of the Phantom Knocker.
Mine was one time, and mine was easy because I had my dad hold the door open, so I could knock and just sneak right in my room because we were right next to each other.
Yeah, he had to go all the way down the hallway.
The thing is,
Hang on a second.
we were in the middle of watching a great episode of Impractical Jokers. All this crap happens.
So I don't think we're exaggerating when we say we probably watched 30 episodes of Impractical Jokers that weekend.
That's easy to do when you're in a hotel room and you're not familiar with the channels and you go to True TV and there's just a bunch of Impractical Jokers on. You might as well just leave it on because that's the only show that they broadcast.
Yeah.
I think that's all we did on that. Was it the Sunday? Because he stayed an extra day,
Yeah.
and we're like, well, what do we do?
I don't know. We got to meet Eric for dinner at 5. Okay, what now? I don't know. Turn the
I
TV
don't know. We'll just watch Impractical Jokers, I guess.
Yeah, fun times.
So what are we doing again?
Well, let's talk about the
weekend games.
yeah, talk about the weekend games. So the first game is going to be both games are KC St. Louis. First game is Friday night, the 26th this Friday at 5:05 p.m. in St. Louis, and the second game is Saturday at 6 p.m. at Cable Dahmer Arena in Independence, Missouri, just outside of Kansas City. So who wants to start?
Well, I think I'm going to go from a betting perspective here. I'm going to throw this in. I think Kansas City in both games is probably going to be a huge favorite. I would say Kansas City probably a 2.5 goal favorite at this point. Meaning if you bet on St. Louis and they lose by either 1 or 2, you would win. It's like giving St. Louis a 2.5 goal advantage.
In NFL, and we can open up the betting talk too. In NFL terms, the home team automatically gets like a 3-point favorite. What do you think it is in indoor soccer? Is it 1 goal? Does not even exist.
It depends. Like
It's got to
It depends on the arena, to be honest with you. I mean, if you look at like a big attendance arena like Milwaukee and Utica, I would say that would be about a goal advantage. Baltimore, being the small arena that it is probably an advantage. But if you're looking
just
at
a small advantage, though.
Just a small, yeah.
I see what
unless
you did there.
Geo does some sort of interior designing to make it look bigger on TV. But I would say like Florida. Like, I don't think Florida would have much of a home field advantage. Now, if it was filled to the gills, then yeah, absolutely. But certain arenas, I would say there wouldn't really be much of an advantage.
Fair enough.
Most, I think, yes, but there's a few. Probably Dallas, probably Florida. Well, Harrisburg moved to a new arena, and it's smaller in attendance-wise, so it might be louder. So maybe half a goal.
We won't know until we get there, yeah.
Right. But I think when it comes to, I mean, you probably could do St. Louis maybe at a 1.5 goal underdog for the first game and then 2.5 for the second because of them being home first and then the away second.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can see that.
Yeah, you know what I forgot to ask? Mike, are you feeling better? Hopefully things are going better I heard you were having vertigo spells or something like that. That sound very good. Hoping to see you on the field this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think if Mike plays,
if he's on the field, we might as well bump that up half a goal to a goal.
You know, I guess that's my biggest argument there is looking the rosters up and down. I think they're both impressive. But then when I look at Kansas City, you know, it's
stacked
here. And then you look at how talented they are, and then you look at the two young guys from last year, and you know, I'm doing the math and I'm looking at stats and then trying to rethink and replay games over in my head. And the fact that those two didn't share Rookie of the Year is kind of mind-boggling to me, I think, between Lucas and Rian. I just think, 12 goals in 12 games for Rian, and then I guess you look at intangibles and what Lucas brings to the field. Man, that team is just so incredibly talented.
Yeah. And they have my comments there kind of tie onto that. And they've had the same roster now.
Yeah.
2 years in a row, almost 3. Leo Gibson now is in his third year coaching. I think it's going to be really interesting watching them go. And then you got St. Louis, who just lost their coach. They have a brand new one. They lost a number of players who kind of went out with the Everton era, and a lot of new players. And then Paulo going down. And as far as we know right now, Rafa still doesn't have a visa.
What happened to Paulo?
Yes, Sid. Paulo had an ACL tear like 3 weeks ago. Been all over online.
He didn't mention it or anything,
right?
Yeah.
He didn't do a video for all the fans or anything like that on their page. Yeah.
Did you love seeing Paulo in his uniform on the sidelines the other day, though?
It made me nervous.
It almost that made me sad.
It just seems to me like
in a good way upset.
Sort of like a fire in there that he wanted to be out there and support the team so much that he went so far as got dressed and was right there on the sideline.
The one encounter we had with Paulo was like really great, and after coming off of like having our own goalkeeper tear his ACL, like what was it now, 2 years ago almost? That's so heartbreaking. I can't even imagine those St. Louis fans. And Paulo's so loved in St. Louis, and he's so very talented.
I think the league in general really likes Paulo.
Yeah.
I think he plays 100% every single game, and
yeah, I agree.
You could tell that he wanted to be out there, and I mean off the field he's a great guy. We met him when we were out in Kansas City, and so it was good.
The guy offered me a beer. I mean, right there, the minute you offered me a beer, you're going to be my friend forever. So even
yep, I also drink with Paulo. So.
So Scotty's in the chat. Scotty's a big fan of Josu Maison, also known as Sway. And he used to play for, I don't remember where he played for, but I know Scotty's been a big fan of his. He looked really good in goal. He played like the first half of those 2 games, and then Cortez played the other half, and they both look good.
Now is that Pollo Cortez from Mesquite?
No, it is Fernando Cortez from Seawolves.
Oh, okay.
Fernando Cortez Jr. from the Seawolves. And he told me he's not signed with St. Louis. It was just kind of a last minute thing. And Mike just says, my guys, Jose Tito and hopefully Fernando will be up for the challenge. Oh, he's a former Croatian Eagles goalie. So that's a big Croatian club here in Milwaukee area. Oh, Sway and Cortez were both with Seawolves. Okay.
Nice.
Scotty's a big Croatian Eagles guy. I grew up playing for Polonia because the Italian team sucked and the Polish team was better, so I played for them. And everyone hated the German team, the Bavarians. We had that in common.
Lucy never played the Croats, but she played a lot against Polonia.
We did not like Polonia
because they always beat up on them.
It changed a lot since I was a kid. But yeah, Andy played for them for the first couple of years, and then went on to a different thing.
Yeah.
So I think going back to this weekend's games, the ones on Friday and Saturday. I'll save Sunday for later.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see Kansas City sweep. And if I were to put those betting lines down, I would still pick Kansas City. I'm going to say both games are 3 goals or more difference. My only issue with this game is the amount of firepower Kansas City has versus the defense of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And we saw it last weekend. They're just all over the place, and they have many different ways of scoring.
I think the goalkeeper is in their favor.
I mean, do you see that shot from outside the yellow line on game 1? It did the laser beam was. I couldn't even tell you who shot that. To be honest with you, I think it was Sousa.
That was Mo. It was San Diego. Mo NDI.
Oh. You know who also had a really good game was for Kansas City was Kyle McLaughlin.
McLaughlin, yeah.
Is he?
I thought you were going to say Nick McDonald.
Nick McDonald was okay. He was okay.
Yeah, he was all right.
He had a couple okay goals, kind of just a little sloppy in the back heel. It didn't go like perfectly through it, touch the goalkeeper a little bit.
Wait, since Gio's not here, is Nick McDonald coming on the show tonight?
Every time we gotta ask Nick, and we gotta make sure Gio can't make it. What's going on here with your video?
We've gone.
It's not me. It's not.
Our videos had a little too much to drink.
Yeah, right.
Hey, there you are. Welcome back.
So there's a button in this control panel software called Fix the Rainbow Puke. And that's exactly what it looked like. So I would agree with that, Matt. I don't think I would change anything. I think the only way to give St. Louis an advantage at home is if you pump in the announcer feed, broadcast feed through the PA. Into the arena. I think that would
You know what? Yeah, I would love to see the St. Louis that beat Florida show up And Adam, you and I have had this conversation on a handful of occasions when we watch St. Louis at their greatest, and then we watch them not be able. We talked about momentum earlier in the show, not be able to carry the momentum from one quarter to the next. It's like they have a great quarter, and then that's it. They're a great lesson in fractions. They're a perfect example of 1/4. They put together one good quarter. But then in that Tropics game, it was one of those moments where you mentioned to me in a chat, it's the first time you've seen them put together 4 straight quarters of really great indoor soccer. And what did they do? They went and they took it to the Tropics last year in that game, and then it was like a Jekyll and Hyde thing. Like, who are we going to see? So if they put together one of those 4 straight quarters sort of pieces, and I think maybe, Matt, you're right with that home field piece. I think maybe we'll find out right away in that first quarter in St. Louis what we're going to get for the weekend. It might set the whole tone.
Yeah.
I agree. I think so we had concerns because the rumor mill said that the St. Louis owner wanted to do more of a run and gun offense, didn't want to play the possession game. And all of us were like, well, that's like almost suicide as far as indoor soccer is concerned. But now the goalkeeper rule came out, and it almost plays right into what their game plan is. Well, that'll be interesting to see, but I think Kansas City's probably better at it already.
Yep.
Yeah, but then if you do a run and gun against a high-powered offense like Kansas City, and now you're just leaving yourself exposed, I think.
Yeah, that's a team you do not want to expose yourself to. I mean, Kansas City is going to stomp on you if you leave yourself exposed for a few seconds. They're going to notice like a little window. They're going to run right through it.
I know Kansas City definitely plays with their high press defense, and that's gonna, even if like when they do that, that defense is hard to get past.
Gio's taking bets. He's putting money on St. Louis. I saw in the chat.
Well, Matt was tossing around the different spreads here between 1.5 and 2.5. So before Gio starts taking bets here, I think Matt needs to solidify where he's going to.
Well, I think let's say, like, I don't like ties. Like, I don't know why the National Football League and all these leagues put whole numbers. It doesn't make any sense. Well, I guess I get it because the tie goes to the casino. So, okay. St. Louis, 2-goal underdogs at home. And then 2.5 goal. No, 3. I'll say 3-goal.
Oh, that's a bold statement there, Cotton. I thought you just move it to 2.5 at home for KC.
Yeah, 3.
What did I have? Oh my gosh, I was completely off with the spreads on the Central Cup games. I think I had like 2.5 or 3.5.
I think everyone was off in their predictions of the Cup. Here's what the chat looked like. Gio says St. Louis is taking Friday. Scotty said Gio putting money on it, and Gio said no because I don't believe it.
Well, Gio also picked Dallas every single time last year, whether he believed it or not.
It's like in the old days when Howie, whatever his name was on NFL on Fox, and every year in the beginning of the year he would pick the Raiders to win the Super Bowl.
Right, Howie Long.
Regardless if they won 2 games the previous year, he'd always pick them to win. So then Gio says, Scotty, I take St. Louis leading for 3 quarters in case he comes back. I mean, we've never seen that before. Hey, Emma. Mike's in the chat, too. He's talking about his weird British foods that he bought. Or I don't even know if those are foods at all.
I think they're like candies. Right?
I still have a jar of Marmite.
Rubik's Cube and
lima beans?
I think he got some chips, but most of us just call them fries.
Yeah, but I caught Emma calling them chips once.
So Emma, what is the actual name of a grocery store in Britain?
Yes.
Yeah, we need your insight because we are chuffed about the whole topic.
We are. And yes, Jack, Howie Long, that's right. I had in my mind Howie Mandel, and I knew that was 100% wrong, but I couldn't get that out of my mind, so I couldn't think of his name.
That's the guy on like America's Got Talent or something like that.
He's the germaphobe, yeah.
And then Scotty says Dallas wins the cup this year, so unless they're going to have a special Dallas Cup for only Dallas.
He wins the $3 beer cup from Cliff.
Hold that thought.
So we have a Tesco's.
Do we want to do it? Do we want to do it now, or do we want to?
Let's wait. We'll wait.
No,
I'm not ready to pick
weekend. Okay, we'll do this weekend's games, and then just hold that thought.
I'm not ready to pick a cup winner.
I am.
Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to. Don't worry.
Think back to about a year ago at this time when we had almost the same discussion. And what happened?
One of the greatest moment in the box history. And you guys were a part of it.
Hang on. Emma, are you okay over there? Are you okay? She's just typing random words into the chat. They make no sense. I don't know if she's trying to communicate.
Those are not words.
Those are all words for grocery stores.
So Emma,
translating.
Emma, if you've been kidnapped, type "the eagle will land at sundown." We'll come rescue you.
She's just fired off British slang right now.
I'm gonna go. I need to go pick up some chips at the Lollybiggle.
This is just a bunch of polypop is all it is.
Oh boy!
I need to pick up some Rubik's cubes at the Bilbo Baggins.
The Bilbo Baggins. Oh boy!
That's
talk.
So do we? Okay, so. All right, I'm calling Kansas City clean sweep this weekend.
Me too.
Second, third, fourth. All right, so.
Okay. All right,
sorry,
so
Ambush
everyone
fans.
is, and I think I forgot to ask Hannah, but I'm sure Hannah would have gone with the Kansas City sweep as well. I think we know the only person that is going to pick St. Louis is not in this call right now.
So we don't even. It's fine.
But
if he's not here, it doesn't count.
What's the greatest moment of In the Box history that we were a part of?
So, okay, do you want to, Adam? Do we want to segue into that?
Okay, so Cliff, you said you weren't ready to pick the cup winner yet.
Correct.
Neither are we.
So here comes the wheel.
Oh no!
Here we go.
I have on the list all 12 teams, I think.
Even Dallas.
That's the wrong window. I have Ambush. I did by conference here. The first four: Ambush, Comets, Wave, Sidekicks. Then East, UCFC, Blast, Heat, Tropics, and then Soccer's, Stars, Fury, and Savage. Seem to be forgetting.
Something. Yeah, you're missing something.
Or not.
One entry there. Well, it'll be the Corn Dogs.
Plural.
So, are we ready to pick the winner?
Let's go for it.
Here we go.
Now, this was the greatest moment in the box history.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Okay, pick your wheel. Woo!
Respin.
3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
Whoa!
Wait, what just happened?
So before
Why are we in
switch
last
to last?
sticker? No.
Can't wait.
No,
You need to.
We need
everyone stop. I'm calling it.
There we go.
Oh my God.
Before the show, Adam was tinkering with it, and I asked him if he was. Before the show, Adam was tinkering with the whole picker wheel, and I said, "Listen, if it comes up Milwaukee Wave, I'm calling shenanigans." Now I don't have to because obviously you picked the right team.
I'm gonna pistol whip the next man that says shenanigans.
Something happened to the picker wheel. The whole site crashed. I don't know what happened. We'll need to scrub this from existence on YouTube and re-upload the video. I don't remember what happened.
Hey, so happened? Jack, could you do me a favor and put like that 30 seconds into a clip for me, and then I'll. I was gonna switch jerseys during the timeout.
Man, that was a perfect Eric moment right there.
So I was gonna switch into this. I was gonna show everyone real quick. It's my newest.
Okay.
Signed
So
and
they
everything.
had
That's nice.
so there was like an auction for the Central Florida hearing thing. I don't even remember. It's a group that does things for kids with hearing issues and things like that, and that was one of the things that they had. They also had a table for 10 to a Tropics game. I was thinking we could all go. What is it? 10 Z's on that?
Double the attendance. What?
Yeah.
But we'd have to pay for parking. Wait. How does that work?
I don't know.
So the question I have about that, if anyone knows in the chat, is it, do you pay for parking for one car and everyone gets free tickets, or is it one car per free ticket?
I'm fascinated by that as well.
My guess is because
so if 20 clowns got into a car and went to a Florida Tropics game,
Barnum and Bailey is going to send all their clowns, and they're just going to fill that stadium with 4 PT Cruisers worth of clowns.
So many jokes there. I don't even know where to start.
During a Tropics game, you just see like rows and rows of jugglers just juggling, and Brian Ackley is like, and in section 210, jugglers.
Get this fucking
It was
clown.
like the first minute when I met Matt Huber for the first time and realized that he's like 6'12". I'm like, I don't think the car I rented is big enough for this guy.
So we were talking about that before, about the jerseys and sizes and jerseys and things before we went live here, and we were talking about sizes of jerseys, and everyone's like, well, all the soccer players are like 5.5 feet tall. I was just about to say, just so we went live, so Andre Hayne is known as the big guy.
Yeah.
And he's 6'3", which is tall. It's taller than I am.
And he wears a size large jersey.
Right. But 6'3", and as far as sports, is not considered big at all. You got basketball players
like 6 Isaac Pereiras inside of me. Like the dude, I would just honestly, I'm like 4 times the size of that man.
Is that how big Baltimore's field is? Is 6 Isaac Pereiras?
That's about right, and that's about how many Isaac Pereiras
like this.
If you stretch out like this,
6 Isaac Pereiras on the field. That's how big Baltimore's field is.
Did you guys know that actually Andre Hayne takes 3 steps on Baltimore's field and he's already at the other goal?
That's right.
When he first started, so I remember when he played in St. Louis, and I didn't really see much of him back then. When he joined the Wave, my first thought was, wow, he's kind of slow. But then you realize that one of his steps is like 4 of anyone else's.
That's it's so deceiving. He's deceptive.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a long stride or gait, if you will. But when I take a step, I am really slow. So there is a difference. I am about the same height as him, but I'm a lot slower.
I'm a lot shorter and have like no endurance on the field, and I'm slow. I got that going for me.
I've got all of the above.
I'm 16 and still not fast. So.
And she doesn't know her left from her right.
See, I wasn't going to bring that up at all during the show, and then the can of worms just kind of opened up, and I don't know what's going on.
And Matt, you missed your opportunity, because when we were going for the Kansas City thing, and I seconded it, and Adam thirded it, and then Lucy said I fifth, and didn't realize there's only we can go back and do so. Remember this. There's only 4 of us on the show right now.
Okay,
she literally
to be fair.
No, we're not.
Well, to be fair, I said it pretty quietly, but then the next thing you see it is I turn to him and I tell him that I was like, I just said fit. I'm obviously including Gio.
Right.
Why? None of us are.
She was thinking about Gio when she was making the count, but the fact of the matter is, she said, "I fit that."
There's some serious calculations going on over in Utica right now, or in Syracuse right now, wherever you are. We'll just say upstate New York.
The math doesn't add up for me. I don't know. It just doesn't.
So, we have visa issues in the league, and everyone knows that. And everyone's known it for years. And I heard something that when I talked to Tozer last week or before the other week, he mentioned something that made I've kind of been thinking a lot about, because I tend to overthink things in this sport. He said that the government looks upon this league and sees things like open tryouts, and that is bad for the league. And I think teams maybe don't get it, and I think fans don't really maybe not understand why that's an issue. I think the teams like the fact that they can bring the community in, they can maybe open it up to the public, have people try out. But the government says, well, what top league would have someone try out for a team and 3 weeks later be starting with a uniform in their first, in their game? And I think what they're looking for is really to use that like MASL pyramid and have open tryouts at like the M3 level, maybe the M2, and then have players come up through the M2 to M1, but not have anyone be able to just come in off the street and join M1 right away. Without prior, obviously like a Landon Donovan's not going to go try out for M3 or something. Or a Kevin Ellis, or, a number of the players that we've had. Lamar Nagel, Jermaine Jones. There's a pool player named Jeremy Jones. I know it's not Howie Mandel. I know it's not. But, obviously those... Howie Mandel. And even guys that have played, UPSL level outdoor, I don't consider them rookies in the indoor, and I think they could have special kind of tryouts that are not just I show up on a Sunday and pay $35 and do my tryout and then hopefully I get a position on the roster, because very few teams sign guys from those open tryouts. But I think the fact that I really don't know why this, but you were saying UPSL and you were saying UP, and I'm like, oh, he's going to say something about the UPS. Not UPS, or USL or NPSL. I got those two mixed up.
Oh, but not UPS.
No, if you work for, if you're a UPS driver, you get free run right to the top of the level of the league. You can deliver packages.
You have to wear those like short brown shorts and everything.
You almost have the uniform just done, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there is a visa issue. I heard there is some sort of deadline tomorrow, but I don't know what kind of deadline that is. If it's a milestone or deadline from the league to get visa players in, or from teams, or from, I don't know. I don't know what it is. So maybe we'll hear something this week. We're still waiting on Josh Lemos, along with Chino, along with Isaac Pereira, along with Chamale, along with, I thought there was one more.
Renaud.
The Wave released Robert Renaud.
Wow.
By that, actually.
Yeah.
I was just watching a 2017 game against Kansas City, and Robert was playing. We obviously have not seen Robert play for like 2 years now, because during the initial COVID season, he was out because of visa. Yeah.
Yep.
And then obviously he didn't play last year. But he really was a big part of the Wave offense, which I guess I never realized when he first was played, but then I was watching back now, and he really did wonders for our team. So
it's hard to remember because we played a whole season without him.
Yeah.
And there was another season without him.
Right. So it's kind of like weird seeing it. But we did get Daniel Matos back.
Yes, we did.
Which is very exciting, too.
He's been heavily involved in the U.S. Futsal team.
Yep.
If you guys don't know, you can go to maslsoccer.com, go to stats, and go to transactions, and there's been 20 players signed in the last week.
Tacoma just signed majority of their players back.
Yeah, and we were talking about this a while ago because Wave fans were freaking out because we had no players on the roster, and St. Louis, who was always early on the roster, those fans are making fun of us for not having any players, and Now all of a sudden the rosters are filling up. Yeah, Sidekicks signed 7 or 8. Tropic signed 3. Stars signed 7. And things are going. Things are moving along now.
Yeah.
As I
It's
was,
definitely-
You guys aren't the only. I mean, we're missing a couple key players as well. Visa issues. Ricardo Diego Zuniga. They're both on the roster, but inactive because of visa issues. And I think if we get those players back, I think this is. Well, I think the picker wheel's right regardless, but.
Adam, I mean, your point.
We're not respinning, Adam. No, we're not.
3 out of 5.
We're not doing this again. We're not doing it again.
3 out of 5.
We're not doing it.
Okay.
Oh,
and
man.
we're done.
Now we know that the picker wheel's officially broken.
No
So
reason to give Gio any breath of life here.
Oh.
Right.
No, but Adam, to your point, I think you're right. You know, it's hard to believe that the U.S. government would nitpick about that so much, as though they have better things to do when it comes to visas. However, you're right. You look at other major sports, and you know most of them most of the talent comes from the draft. You get unsigned free agents who need invitations to come and work out with the team, and it's not just an open tryout sort of thing. You know, the irony behind all this, though, is, you know, we look at like Isaac Pereira as a big contributor to the Wave, a solid piece to their puzzle, and Isaac Pereira was an open tryout kid,
Right.
you know, whose aunt said, "Hey, you should go. The Wave are having an open tryout. You should go and do this." And he took her word of advice, and the next thing you know, he's, you know, a major piece of the puzzle. And
But
so
if you
that's
remember-
what
a unit of measurement.
it took him 4 or 5 years to really work up. And I think if Milwaukee had a M2 team, he would have been playing. He really didn't break through the roster until the last 2 seasons, the 2 real
Right.
seasons. I think if Milwaukee had an M2 team, he would have played those 2 or 3 years prior. Instead of only getting a game like here and there, he would have been a starter on the M2 team and then just grown even faster into the M1. I know that. So I think I posted a while ago. Sorry, MIC or post. Let me reply to that in a little bit. Matt can't see the chat, and I have a very short attention span. So, but I do see it now, and I haven't acknowledged it. So I will answer that in a second. What was I saying?
Case in point.
Case in point. Shiny object. Is that a UFO? How many ADD kids does it take to screw in a light bulb? Hey, you want to ride bikes? So, to the point. There was a write-up from some law firm about all the different sports visas that are out there. And there is like an O1, which is meant for like a Wayne Gretzky type player, which there's probably not even any in the MLS, unless you're bringing in like a Ibrahimovic or, you know, Wayne Rooney or somebody like that. There's a P1, which is what all the players in the MSL are under, and all the players that are in all the major 5 leagues, 4 leagues. But there are a number of leagues that are just preferred, and all you have to really do is say, here, I have a contract with the Green Bay Packers, give me my visa, and the government goes, here's your visa. That's all that needs to be done. In the MSL, we have to apply, we have to get lawyers involved. It's a lengthy process. It costs thousands of dollars. You have to pay all the money up front, and then 3 months later, you may find out that, it's just denied. That's kind of what we're dealing with.
Yeah, it just seems like overly complicated for a league to build a roster, especially in a sport like soccer, where it's such a world sport. You know, you look at the National Football League, and you get the occasional Doug Flutys of the world, and you know, I'm thinking of like the Chicago Bears' Israel Adonijah, who was a native to Canada, and now you're only floating out there a couple of visas on 32 teams that carry 53-man rosters, and how many? You maybe got a couple Canadians out there, and that's pretty much it. But now you've got a league that, you know, is heavily dependent upon foreign players. I mean, you look at the number of Brazilians that are out there. You look at the number of Canadians, particularly that you know. Look at our team, that Canadian futsal team. You look at some of those old videos. It's Lemos, it's Chamale, it's Renault, it's Ian Bennett. I mean, those are all, you know, Canadian national futsal players. It just seems so. I mean, I get it. I totally understand, but it seems very nitpicky and like the hoops shouldn't be set on fire for these teams to have to jump through them to get their players visas. And it just seems that's the reality of it when, in fact, they're so heavily dependent on foreign players.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because if you look at NHL, there's very few like American players. It's almost all Europeans and Canadians in the league, and there's almost all U.S. teams. Well, why does it work there and it can't work for us? And because we're not in that preferred status. I've heard that there's the government has issue with some of the former owners and things that former owners have done, and they just kind of tarnish the sport year after year after year. They don't want to have someone come in and have like a Kokalis situation where he just takes off. And then if the league didn't come in and step in, all those players' visas would have been voided and they would have had to move back like immediately. So
the league and the other owners, I mean, are more specifically the San Diego owner, you know. I mean, next thing in the Orlando Seawolves are finishing the year with Calafino on their jerseys.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, it was I know it was
Kansas
Tacoma.
City.
Well, Tacoma and KC is Lane. We met at the All-Star game. There was Bill from
St. Louis?
San Diego. I think St. Louis and Milwaukee were the 5 teams, but 4 owners that were involved.
Yep.
And yeah. So there's that. So before I forget here, Emma wants to know if you're coming to Milwaukee for the Utica game.
No.
And Emma, we looked at the schedule and we tried to make it work. And actually, Tara and I were going to sponsor Matt's trip, have him stay right by our house, drive him all over the place, and do that. But it didn't. It just the dates didn't work out. I think you have a game like that Friday, and then there's a game here Saturday, and you have a game Sunday again or something like that at home or whatever it is. So it just didn't work out.
Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to make it out to Milwaukee this season. I don't even know if I'm going to make it out to Baltimore this year. I'm kind of thinking about that.
Maybe playoffs.
If Milwaukee and Utica do make is a matchup in the playoffs, yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
But yeah, it's officially official. I did purchase tickets for both San Diego and Ontario.
Wow.
So.
I still have to call them.
And it's so crazy. I was telling Adam, prices are completely different in both of those markets. San Diego was like $45, and Ontario was $15.
Unreal.
Pretty much the same seats.
Yeah, that's great. Speaking of California prices, a friend of mine, they're completely non-soccer related, but just to show you where the world is right now. A friend of mine, she lives in the Bay Area. They just got in a bad car accident. Everyone's okay, but they have to get a new car. So they were looking at a number of things, and somebody sent them a sticker price of it's a RAV4 Prime, so it's a small SUV, but it's electric. And I think the sticker on it was like $49,000, which is up there. The dealer markup was $40,000. They're selling a Toyota RAV4 for $99,000 or $94,000.
That's unbelievable.
Math is hard. Whatever 49 times 4.
Yeah.
Plus 40. Talking is hard too. Yeah, and she had shown something where some dealer was marking up like just a $10,000 markup on like a $30,000 car. She's like, well, that's ridiculous. That's 25% higher. And then she had someone send her that, and it's like, how can you double the price of a car just with
Yeah,
no
that's crazy.
reason, just dealer markups.
It's insane.
Well, dealerships are struggling. I actually got a letter in the mail. They want me to keep my payments at like $330. They want to upgrade me to a car that's 5 years newer.
Yep.
So they're like, trade in your car, get a newer car, and keep your payments for another 60 months or whatever. Because I'm close to paying off my car.
Oh, sure.
There's dealerships around here that are buying cars $5,000 over KBB just because they need used cars on the lot.
Yeah.
It's not easy having 16-year-old twins trying to find 2 used cars at the same time when they have after-school issues going on.
We just bought one for Mandy over the summer, and it's been in the shop 5 times already for like major things. 2010 Chevy Malibu.
So is the girl's car. It's
The check engine light has not turned off since we've had the car, so
I'm gonna get the sticker that says "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine" with the little check engine light on it.
I just ignore it now
Yeah,
because
we're just gonna put a piece of black electrical tape over the top.
Nice.
Now
nice.
let me ask the all important question. Now, when you do the turn signals, do you have like little pieces of tape or something? One says left and one says right.
down is left, up is right.
It doesn't matter down and up. Do you know the left is left and the right is right? Are we good on that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I got an L on this hand. It's just I draw it on there.
And the funny thing is, obviously, my name begins with an L. So when I hold up my hands, I still do this probably on a daily basis. When I do this, it still takes me a second, even though my name starts with an L. So left
I can't.
is an L. Like, especially when I'm playing soccer and my coach is like, all right, Lucy, you're going to play left defense today. I'll be like, when I'm getting on the field, I'm like, okay, which side do I have to be on now?
You know, the irony behind all of this is the girl is like an honor student. She was part of a gifted and talented program.
Oh.
She is in an advanced placement AP World History class. She's president of her class, her sophomore class. But the amount of common sense that she lacks, you could fill Baltimore's arena 10 times.
You just broke Matt. Matt's completely broken now.
I'm done. I can't. Like, it's either that or Adam's dad jokes, and that just sends me off on another.
Oh, that.
Oh, yeah.
I got one.
No, unless you want to end the show now.
On that note, we've given our picks. 5:30 comes around awfully early in the morning. So Lucy and I are going to be signing out here.
All right.
We're going to hand it back to the real captains of the ship.
Oh, boy.
And thank you guys as always.
Run right into an iceberg.
When are they getting here?
As long as you guys replay that scene from Titanic, we're good.
Oh, I thought you were going to say replay the clip of me saying the fifth.
Oh, no, believe me. You go
bag.
find that by tomorrow morning.
No. It's not good.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch the show and listen to that.
Let me know exactly what the time stamp is, and we'll have a short video out.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we'll make it into a short.
Well,
absolutely.
it was when Matt was going through all the votes, so it's whenever we were discussing this weekend's games.
Yep. Don't worry.
All right,
So the shows only get maybe 150, 200 views. Some of the better ones get 250, but all the short videos they get like 1,000. We had one of Ian's goals has like 2,000 views on it already. So.
Oh no! I better go more viral than Ian. That's all I'm saying.
All right, the battle is on.
This.
The challenge has been waged.
I know.
All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you guys for having us.
We'll have to do this again in a couple months.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving to both of you, all
Yeah,
right?
you too. Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right, see ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
Switch over here, and we're back.
Hey, it's us. Oh, before I forget, can I get a quick score check?
What score?
the football game.
Oh, the thing that I said I was going to keep my eye on. Oh, yeah, it's not any better for you.
Well,
Early in the fourth, 27-10.
Okay, perfect. All
So
right.
you're right. It was over back then.
It was, yeah. So it's funny. So I'm on my phone and I get a text from my best friend from high school who's a Giants fan, and he's like, "Why do I continue to watch this team?" And I knew at that point it was pretty bad. So
yeah,
oh well.
I still haven't watched a game or any part of a game this year. I'm not missing it. I'm looking more forward to indoor soccer than ever. But I'm watching like old pool matches from the 90s and the 2000s and just enjoying that. And I'm playing more pool and doing more video stuff. And I'm not missing it at all.
Yeah, I've been kind of watching weird. I'm watching bowling, and I've been watching college volleyball.
Huh.
With some indoor soccer sprinkled in.
Emma said they were going to
But
offer you.
I'll be watching. But I'm very excited. I will be watching live indoor soccer in 6 days.
Yeah. Emma said if you were going to come here, they have a purple bedroom you can sleep in if you could make.
A purple bedroom.
Yeah. There's a story behind the purple bedroom. I'm not sure what it is, but I know there's a story.
So speaking of purple bedrooms, in the house I used to live in, when we bought the house, it was a family, and one of the family or the daughters or whoever, there was a room that was camouflage. It was literally camouflage, black spray paint, green spray paint, everything, whatever. And they had a bedroom that looked like Barney had like thrown up everywhere. It was like this super purple and like this bright green. It was the most hideous thing ever.
Cliff wants to know what the British word for purple is. I think it's lolly purple. Lolly perps.
Yeah, I think you add lolly to the English word. It turns it British.
Lolly perps.
Lolly perps.
When so Mandy painted her room half purple, half like a teal, like a bright blue teal color. Looks pretty good offsetting. The house we moved into when I was probably 8, the room that ended up being my brother's room was like Pepto-Bismol pink.
So like if you walked into like Victoria's Secret or something like that.
No, I mean like
because that is no, I won't say I frequent it, but I've been in that store a couple of times, and it looks like you're like walking in a jar of Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah. Lolly perps.
Yeah, it's probably a thing.
So, did you hear the latest rumor of the rule change that the league is thinking of putting in?
No.
I want to see if we can give Jay some more things to talk about since he's taken very kindly to watching our shows and doing this. So, I don't know how serious this is, but the latest rumor that I heard was that they're going to limit the number of substitutes per game. And right now, you know, like outdoor soccer used to be 3. I think when COVID hit, they made it 5 or 7. I think they've like stretched that out and kind of just left it there. In indoor, obviously, it's unlimited. But the rumor that I heard was they're going to like make it either 10 or 15 subs per game, and that's it. So no more like 1-minute shifts. You got to play until you're tired. Then you have to strategically plan all your substitutes.
So you would only that's like the limit is either like so it's either 10 or 15.
Yes.
What if you absolutely needed to sub someone? What if someone was like running down the field with like a broken ankle or something?
Like, I can't say he's on our team now. From what I heard, it's the other team then gets a top of the arc restart for every additional sub.
Oh, wow.
It seems gimmicky to me.
It seems mildly gimmicky, but I think I think these 1 minute substitution things are just, I don't know. I don't think, I think you should play until you're tired. So
yeah. When I played, I played on an over 40 league, and that's exactly what they would do. They would play till they're tired, and they would put their arms up, and they would go sub, and they'd run to the bench. It didn't matter if the other team had a 3-on-0. It didn't matter if they were the last defender, and they were, they would just, oh, tired, gotta go, and they'd take off. That was nice.
I used to do that as well, and it was like I would go onto the field and then literally run around for like 30 seconds, and then I'd be like, all right, I'm done, and I would go off, and most of the time I would throw up. So,
Well, that is an important part of the game.
And that's when I became a goalie.
Yeah, right, yeah. No, I started out as goalie because I figured that would be easier. Yeah. Lost my mind. So the only other thing that I have...
Do we tell Jay that's not really a thing?
Oh, yeah, Jay, by the way, I know you have a bunch of notes written down about that. Yeah, that's made up. We just made that up to see what you would do.
But feel free to mention it on your show if you'd like.
There have been realistic comments about people saying that with the goalkeeper rule, there's never going to be any subs anymore, and you're not going to be able to sub players off, and players are going to have to play 5-minute shifts and this and that and the other thing. And Tozer went over that really, really well on Geo and Brad's podcast. If you haven't listened to that, it's like the 80th Bomb Squad. I think that was when they started, is in the 80s, or I still don't necessarily understand the.
I think Geo was born in the 80s, and Brad was a former member of the Baltimore bomb squad.
Oh, okay, that would do it. But it's a cool name.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know.
But they had Tozer on their podcast. Would have been 2 podcasts ago, last week, and he went through. And I mean, Tozer like goes into coach speak, which your average fan like me is like, what does that mean? But basically, we see it a lot in our games where the player on the far side of the field will all of a sudden just run off and sub off. And Tozer's like, just don't do that. You sub the close player. You sub the guy standing next to the bench as opposed to the guy all the way across from the bench and do 4 passes with the goalkeeper to sub. So I don't think that's an issue. I think that'll be fine.
And that's probably something every team is working on before the season starts is how substitutions are going to work.
Yep.
And we kind of saw it in the Central Cup how substitutions might look.
I didn't think they looked any real different than.
Neither did I. I think it was pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. And what I saw was the we'll call him the sweeper player held the ball more than the goalkeeper used to.
Right.
But we'll see what happens. I think KC, especially if they get a small lead in a game, is going to go after St. Louis like crazy. And then we'll see what really happens.
Yeah, but, we were talking about the games and everything. It wouldn't surprise me if either team held the lead and the other team came back. Because we saw it last year with both teams. They couldn't hold leads.
Yeah.
But I said, I think Kansas City's got too much firepower for this weekend.
So Gio just gave me the explanation of the 80s bomb squad, and it's all bullshit. Like literally. Because 80 for the year the Blast started, bomb squad for Blast, and for fun when shortened it's BS. That's what he wrote. So there we go. But I mean, it's a cool name. I like it because you don't have to. It doesn't have to. You can't. You don't want to call them like the Blastettes or something like that. I mean, that's more like the dance team.
The Lolly Blasts.
The Lolly Blasts. That'll be if the Blast ever has a British team, it'll be the Lolly Blast. The Leeds Lolly Blast. Leeds is a place, isn't it?
Yeah, they're part of the Premier League.
Yeah. All right. 2 other things I had written down. One is the betting line thing. I don't know what's going on with that. There hasn't been any talk about that. If it's going to be online,
Nothing's been said.
I researched the SCCG company, and they're just a company that handles betting with oh boy, here we go. Emmett has a really good topic we'll cover in just a second.
Oh, jeez.
And actually, it'll tie right into the next, actually, I'm going to say something first that'll tie into what Emma just said. Yeah. Okay. But the SCCG is basically just a company that helps companies get involved in betting. So they won't actually be running the betting.
I'm gonna dive a little deeper. I'm gonna message Tommy Tanner and see if he has any insight on this whole thing, and maybe Sunday I think Sunday I will go live from Utica. So maybe I'll do like a mini show with anything that I find out.
Okay, Jack says the SCCG in a way licenses the information out to the sports book. So I know there's a lot of things that they're probably talking about betting on. I mean, indoor soccer with all the goals, you can almost do like a football, like per quarter betting type thing. You know, how many goals are going to be scored this quarter? Who scores the first goal? Who breaks the goalkeeper rule the first? Who gets the first penalty? Most penalty minutes? All sorts of stuff, fun stuff.
How many corn dogs will be thrown onto the field at the Tacoma's first home game?
It's a good one. At the rate that the guy who's supposed to be sending them out is going, there will be 0. I keep staring over at them because I'm hoping they go mail themselves.
Would the trophy count? And Nick Pereira goes down with a mild concussion.
Yeah. So there was a topic that I had written down and I didn't know how to bring it up, but Emma just asked a good question and bring it up first. So we have on the Wave specific. Actually, there's 3 ongoing suspensions coming into the league. Jonathan Santos, who is not signed with the team right now, has a 2-game suspension for spitting. We saw that last year against Kevin Ellis. Derek Huffman has a 2-game suspension for some things said on social media. That was the previous league ownership. That was a Josh Schaub thing.
That was a previous ruling.
And apparently that's being upheld. They've tried to fight it. It's going to hold. And then Josh Lemos just got a 1-game suspension for comments made about the goalkeeper rule.
And an undisclosed fine as well.
And an undisclosed fine. So that leads into Emma's question of who made Tozer God. I still want to hear from players and specifically goalies. The problem here is based on Josh Lemos, who is now known as the example. I don't think any other goalkeepers are going to open their mouths about this rule. They saw big negative about the league. Has gotten him a 1-game suspension. I'm surprised there hasn't been another one added on. I'm not going to name names, but anyone who followed that thread and saw what happened there, which actually the thread has since been deleted, so there's no record of the thread even existing anymore. It was on Facebook. I kind of surprised I didn't see another one. I'm glad there wasn't another one. I'm not glad that Lemos got suspended. There were some comments made from the league saying, in a big league, players would get suspended for months, making comments like that about the league, and it just, I don't know. I have a lot to say about the way the rule was put in that I don't agree with, but it's here, and we got to move on, and there's not much we can do about it. Actually, there's nothing we can do.
Right. I don't know how I feel about the whole suspension thing, and I was talking to Gio about it, and it's, I guess, like I don't really know what was said from Lemos. Like I honestly I'm completely in the dark. If he was expressing his opinion professionally, then this suspension is ridiculous. But I mean, if he's throwing F-bombs and this and that, it's BS, blah blah blah. Yeah, I could see that.
Well, here's what happened. He had a conversation with our friend Juan Ruiz, who we've had on the show before when Rafa translated for him. and they were talking in Spanish. Josh is fluent in Spanish, obviously Juan is as well. And if you hit the C translation on the Facebook translator, and Emma said he thinks he said one F word. So if you hit the translate, Facebook's translation from Spanish to English apparently isn't very good. I don't know. Because I saw the comment, and I was like, wow. But the comment was translated to the league is fucking the game. But that's really not what it meant. I don't exactly know what it means. My understanding was more like the league is changing the game. But because that word comes in when you hit the C translate button, and because fans see translate and think a goalkeeper saying that, that's where it came from. I know Josh presented evidence saying this is not what this means. And the league was like, well, it doesn't matter what it means because when people hit that translate button who don't speak Spanish, that's what they see. And granted, that's more of a Facebook issue, yes, but that's still what the fans see. That's where it came in. So Jax is the favorite as the Milwaukee Wave official account complaining about them posting the suspension on Facebook. We all got to laugh about that. That person was having fun with that account that day, and kind of applaud him for that. I don't like the whole situation. I know they fought it. The Wave did fight that suspension. They fought it, and it's going to be upheld. So the first game. Now, the irony of this is that Josh doesn't have a visa. So what I'm wondering is if he doesn't have a visa, does that mean it's going to be his first game whenever he comes back?
I mean, put him on the active roster, like sign him, put him on the active roster, and.
But can you put a player on the active roster if they don't have a legal visa? I don't think the answer is yes to that. So, I mean, because obviously way around it is, well, okay, we're just going to hold your visa off for 3 days, and you're going to play the second game then, whatever, or 1 day.
I think, to be honest with you, I think the previous 2 suspensions should have been re-looked at. I mean, those 2 things are completely different.
Yeah,
and they get the same amount of games. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I went back and forth.
What the league is saying is, you can punch someone, non-sanctioned, but all of a sudden this year it's magically sanctioned, or
yeah.
It really was.
Yeah, punching someone is a 1-game suspension.
That's okay. Yeah, and that's okay. But someone makes comments. I understand they were very, very bad, and that's worse. And that's on the same level as spitting in someone in times of COVID.
Yeah, and then we talked about, because there were a lot of accusations from certain teams few years ago about spitting. We talked about that in the off season before any of the, before anyone knew what was going to happen with the world. Not that we do anyway now, but I think we all agreed that spitting was way worse than just outright punching someone. Spitting in someone's face is 100 times worse than punching someone. It's demoralizing. It's just, there's so many things wrong with it. But then you do it in a place where you're actively testing players every day and actively making people wear masks in the crowd and this and that and that and that in the time of a virus which is airborne, transferred on saliva and spit and respiratory droplets, or whatever the word.
Right. Oh, so speaking of that, Jack, I had a quick question for you. What is I know you go to Comets games, so you can answer this. What's the COVID protocol for the odd? I'm just curious for Sunday. I would imagine it's just show valid shot record or
Good
negative
question.
test.
Does anyone?
I'm guessing.
Yeah. Does anyone know what the Milwaukee arena? Because Milwaukee Admirals hockey games have been going on since I think mid-October. I think like October 16th was their first game.
Yeah, I know the Utica Comets have, I think, played like 13, 14 games or something. I think it's 13. So I know they've had games. So I'm not I'm just trying to figure out Sunday.
Yeah. So Matt said, or Emma said, Matt, right on. Jason said exactly the same thing. So Emma, just so you know, too, the delay from where you see us and where it shows up in the chat is like 20 seconds ish. Scotty says no masks, no vaccine for the Admirals game. They're just wide open.
Wow.
Yeah, they're encouraged, but
Well, I'm sure it's different. I'm sure it's different in New York.
So Jack said, as of this moment, they're not checking any shot records. It's on the honor system. All kids under 12 have to wear masks. People who are unvaxxed have to wear masks, but because it's on the honor system, if they don't want to, they probably. Yeah, they don't check, so it's purely the honor system.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Fine. But. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. So that's
There's
that's
that.
we'll see what happens. Things really spiked when it got cold last year, so see what happens.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I'm very surprised by this episode.
I didn't want to say anything.
The audio was wonderful, and I only heard like a little crackle at one point.
Right. And I saw you go really quiet. Like if you didn't move, all of a sudden it would just go away. Like the audio's a T-Rex, and you're like, don't move.
Don't move.
But so what I did is I used the old version of the web software, which I think was the one we were using before you switched phones. I think what happened is right at the time you switched phones is the same time that they upgraded this web software to a newer version, which is meant more towards like iOS 15. Now, if you want to ever upgrade your phone to iOS 15, let me know, because
I will do that Thursday. Just remind me to do it Thursday. I'm going up to see my dad and my sister.
Okay.
Thanksgiving. They have their Wi-Fi, so I'll just do it then.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's his fault, but a certain person is not here, and usually when he's here, that's when the issues happen. So
we can just blame it. So I mean, because it's obviously not if we have 3 people on the show, because we had Cliff and Lucie, which, as far as a meeting note, counted as one.
Yeah.
So, oh, interesting. Maybe we'll just have to have Nick McDonald replace them.
I guess so. Well, and Gio comes into chat and says, "I hate you guys."
Yeah, right.
Again.
Yeah, Adam Grosskreutz said the cases are spiking again here. I read somewhere, I don't know where it was not Wisconsin, somewhere had as many cases now as originally in March of 2020.
That's insane.
Which is crazy. I don't know if it was even in the US now that I think about it. I can't remember where it was. Yeah, Emma says right on about comment about spitting during COVID is way worse than any other things. I agree with that.
Darn lolly COVID.
Lolly COVID. Lollyvid.
Lollyvid.
Yeah, Scotty says probably Texas, but I don't know, because the warm weather seemed to make it not happen as much. I don't know.
I'm not going to sit on my soapbox about vaccinations on an indoor soccer.
I had my first in the end of March, and it knocked me on my ass. I had my second in the end of April. It completely knocked me on my ass. They're like 2 days, completely out. I had my booster shot and my flu shot last Friday. My arm was sore, and we were tired for a day, and that was it. I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. First one I had a headache. Second one I had a headache and nausea. Third one I felt fine that night, and then the next day I kind of felt like tired, but I took a shower and then did some errands, went to the casino, and I was fine. But
when you were at the casino, what game did you play? Was it this one?
I did. So the first time I went back, I did play that, but didn't win anything. So, oh well.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
I've only been in a casino 3 or 4 times in my life.
I went to, and this kind of ties into indoor soccer. So it was Brandon Brooks, his birthday, one of the guys from the Keeper's Corner podcast. And we had a get together at Turning Stone, which is in between Syracuse and Utica.
Yep.
And we had all of the cast members there, and Tim Goldman.
Nice.
Showed up, and we were talking and drinking, and gave us a lot of interesting information about this upcoming season for Utica. Hopefully I'll have some more information on Sunday.
Cool. So let's talk about the Sunday game. I don't know if we lost Kevin or not. Kevin had 2 comments, and they were both. I think Kevin's a bot. So Kevin Capel, Kaple. He said Crunch gonna roll Sunday. Utica, New York will be in a state of shock. Oh, the next thing he says, the FTF network is terrible. That was the network that they played, like the M2 finals or M2 playoffs last season or whatever. Didn't seem like a very well done, very well put together streaming network.
Now, I will say this about Sunday. I think Cleveland's going to come in, and yeah, they're a well-knit team, and they won. Great, wonderful. You're going up against one of the, when it comes to rosters, I think one of the most unwavered rosters. I mean, you have a bunch of core players that have been with this team for years, and I think, I know they're practicing hard. I wish I could go to a practice before the exhibition game, but I have to work. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a great game, but I think you're going to see Cleveland get. I'm going to say 9-3.
Oh wow!
I'm going to say 9-3 Utica.
So speaking of, we're going to see, is there any? I haven't seen any talk about streaming platform for that at all.
Nothing as of yet. I contacted Tommy Tanner, and he hasn't said anything yet. If I find any information out, I will post it on In the Box. If not, I will post updates on Sunday.
Go live a couple times. Score.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of, 30-10 final.
Well,
so there you go.
That's a great way to end the show.
I had, that was really the last. Jackson's working at the hockey game in Utica on Wednesday, so we'll try to find out. So Gio says, Matt, what would you say to maybe the oldest roster going up against these spring chickens? You mean the Blast roster?
I don't know. Who are the spring chickens?
I don't know. Original or extra crispy?
Code?
What?
Is he speaking code?
I don't know.
Is Gio back on his pain meds again?
Right. That was the greatest time ever. So GR, by spring chickens.
It was funny. That was another episode that we watched. It was our first episode on YouTube.
Yeah. Utica's
old. The kids wanted to see us on YouTube.
He's saying Utica is the oldest roster going up against the spring chickens of Cleveland. My question for you, Gio.
Experience over youth.
Original or extra crispy?
Ooh, extra crispy, 100%.
Every once in a while, original is good. I haven't there's no KFC within 30 miles of where I live now, and I haven't had.
I can get that. I can get that DoorDashed. There's only like a few places that I can get DoorDashed, and KFC is one of them.
There's only a couple here. We tried Taco Bell once, and they screwed up our order. Imagine that. and then it's like a ridiculous price.
What did they? So what did they do to your tacos?
So I order my standard Taco Bell. So okay, let me time out.
All right, hang on. While you
Okay. So we used to live 8 blocks from a Taco Bell, and maybe would go there once a year. Just not a fan. Just not an overall fan.
Right.
But when I go, my standard order is 6 hard shell taco supremes. And it has been my order since I was like 18 years old, and Taco Bell was like the only thing we ate. That's probably why I didn't eat it after the age of like 25 or whatever.
Right.
So we get my tacos. My wife gets something. My oldest gets something. They put the tacos all in the bottom of the bag, and one of them was put in there upside down. So when I reach in to grab it, the entire wrapper comes loose, and it's broken in half, laying on top of all the other tacos. They essentially put the taco in there upside down, and as they're putting it in, it fell out of the wrapper, and they just put the wrapper on top of it and crunched it down, and then put the other stuff on top of it. So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm done. No. We don't do fast food very often. There's only a couple places that Domino's is really the only pizza place that's worth it that delivers.
Yeah.
Which is depressing. There's another place in town that's close. What's that?
I said Domino's doesn't deliver here, which is ridiculous because so I live in between 2 cities and both of them have a Domino's, but they don't deliver here.
Weird. Yeah, ours is 7 or 8 miles away and they still deliver. And most of the places they say, within like a 3-mile radius or whatever. But it's all freeway, so that's why they deliver at our little place. There's a place close that's within 5-minute drive, but if you're lazy, you don't want to drive. But their pizza's just like, welcome to Pizza Talk. Welcome to In the Box. We talk about pizzas.
Lolly pizza.
Lolliza. Anything that comes in a box, we'll talk about. Pizza is in a box.
Yeah.
Especially when it's delivered.
Cake.
Oh, cake. I want cake. I'm on a cake craving. Even though I don't eat cake very often, I want cake right
now. Yeah.
All out.
Yeah, I don't have any. So.
Well, I think we can pretty much call it. I don't really have anything else to talk about.
Yeah.
First games of this weekend.
Yeah. It's gonna be an exciting weekend, I think, for all fans, especially ones that have not watched the sport in a year and a half, 2 years. Thankfully, for us, it's a little less than that, but
I haven't watched the Wave since March 8th of 2020.
Well, Utica, I haven't watched since March of 2020. But soccer in general.
So our next show, breaking news, if you haven't seen the post, we are moving In the Box to Thursday nights. Starting a week from this Thursday, December 2nd, will be our first Thursday night show. And what we're hoping is that we can preview the games coming up rather than just have a recap of the game. That way, maybe we'll be later on in the week because... nice. Adam says you're calling it quicker than they did with the election. See you next Thursday. But yeah, so we're gonna hopefully be able to find out like more like the injuries and anything that changes during the week. Because last time we got hit by some stuff, we'd have our show on Monday, then some bunch of stuff would happen Thursday and Friday, and then everyone's picks would be blown out of the water, and we'll still do the picks. But everyone in the U.S. have a great Thanksgiving. I think that's about all we need to cover. First game Friday night.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and go Kansas City, go Utica, and
Go St. Louis. Go St. Louis too. We're equal opportunity.
Oh yeah, okay. Go St. Louis.
You won't win either
Yeah,
game,
go
but go St.
Cleveland.
Louis.
We're not gonna say go Cleveland.
Yeah. Go Cleveland. Just a little.
No. Just a touch.
Just a touch. And you can be thankful this time of year I will not end the show with a dad joke.
We can all be thankful for that. Of course, you might pull it. You know, that's your cue that you're going to do one. So you're BSing us right now. So let me just put my finger on the exit button. Go ahead.
All right. So I was talking to a friend of mine. He said, gas prices are crazy these days, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
They've shot all the way up. And I was talking to a guy at work, and I'm like, can't believe it. The other day, it costs $40 to fill up the tank. And he's like, wow, you drive a tank?